What's going on, guys? It's your boy Dom and I'm here with another video. So real quick before we get started, I want to give a shout out to one of my subscribers. His name is Matthias Clays. Here's his Instagram. There we go. He DM'd me earlier. He had a bunch of questions about reps, like where I think which sites are the best to get sneakers from. We also talked about some other sneakers, and that's something that kind of really caught my attention. Like, just somebody who's interested in talking about sneakers, you know, I could tell he really pays attention to my channel and stuff like that. And he asked me, he's like, hey, you mind shouting me out? And I mean, it doesn't hurt to shout him out. I mean, I appreciate him as a fan or as a subscriber. So therefore, you know, I mean, shouting him out doesn't really hurt. So if you guys want to go ahead and talk sneakers, go ahead and add him, DM him. He's a pretty cool dude. With no further ado, let's just get right into it. So before we get started with the box, I just want to say shout out to Kickplus Service, which is the company that I ended up getting these shoes from. I just want to shout them out. I mean, these are a fairly newer pair. They just released not that long ago. And on top of that being said, once I saw the pictures before the release even dropped, I just kind of fell in love with the shoe. I just thought it was really cool that a Dunk or a Nike SB Dunk is actually coming out with something creative like this, or a collaboration with something else that's non-shoe related or non-clothing related, as you could tell by the title. So let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Obviously, I'm gonna give a good detailed review on this one because it's not something that's so common. Like the Jordan 1 box, we see that all the time. There's not really much to do. But let's go ahead and take a look at the top of the box. You got your Nike SB Classic with a couple of colorways running down. You got the green, blue, red, and yellow. If you take a look on the side, obviously you got the side of the green here, and you got the Nike SB logo. Coming here, you see a little bit of all colors. Now the box is a little damaged, but that wasn't a bad on their part. That was my part. When I stacked them with my other boxes, it kind of got crunched a little bit. But other than that, the box did come in very good condition. And I don't know if you could tell from the light, but it does kind of have like a glossy, really nice glossy finish to it. And of course, on the side of that, also before we get into the sizing, as you know, some of the Nike boxes do have this sticker, which some people look out for. Some of them don't carry it, but just FYI, it does have it on there. And also, if you want to go ahead and check that sizing, it is right there for you guys to check out. Now, one thing that I wanted to shout them out for is that some companies, which it kind of does get me mad in a way, is that when I order shoes from them and they say they do carry 13s, and I receive the shoes, I try them on, and they're not. So a 13 in a Euro size is actually 47.5. And sometimes they're not a true to size 13. Sometimes they're like a low-key 12, but because the factory makes it only up to that size, I'm sorry, not 12, 12.5. The factory makes it only to that size. Sometimes they pass 13s as 12.5. But anybody who is not a 13, you don't have to worry about that. All of their sizing is true to size. But one thing that I do give them credit for is that they were honest, and they said that their sizes only go up to 12.5. Which I appreciate them for the honesty, instead of ordering a 13 and then getting them and then not fitting properly. So that's a big plus for them. Moving along, let's go ahead and take a look inside of the box. So it does come with this wax paper. Go ahead and take a quick look. It does look like it's some sort of like fingerprint or wood grain pattern that you would see on a tree. Something similar to that. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. Contents in the box other than the shoe, it does come with a StockX verified card, which we've seen before, so that's pretty cool. It does come with the fake receipt that we did see with the Jordan 1s, talking about, I'm referring to the blue toes, and these actually are like newer faker receipts. And of course, I'm pretty sure you guys all got a good laugh on those pair of Jordan socks that come with it, with the dude not even looking like Jordan. But then again, that has nothing to do with the shoes whatsoever. This is just a freebie that they like to throw in. By the way, one thing I did notice is that it did not come with the StockX tag, the little round thing that you usually see on the shoes. I was assuming it would come with one since it did come with the card, but I don't see it in here. Again, it's not a big deal because we are not trying to resell them. These are just for personal use only. Other than that, that's all the extras that came in. So let's move on to the shoe. Straight out the box, give me your first impression on what you think so far. So let's go ahead and start with the bottom, because the bottom is the easiest. You do got your classic Nike SB Dunk sole. Pretty much similar to the Jordan 1s, a tad bit different, but for the most part it has a lot of similarities. That's pretty much a 1-for-1. You can't really mess up the sole on these. Moving along, I did see tiny flaws within the sole. For the most part it's correct. There's nothing really much that you could say, but I think it's just they weren't perfected, if you want to say that. So obviously if you look here on the sole, you do have a little bit of the green color over, what would you call it, like, I wouldn't call it overspray because I don't know if they painted it, but you do have it bleeding over to the white part right there. That's just a small inconsistency that I see right there. Obviously when they send pairs out like this, I'm assuming that they are the pairs that are not 1-for-1, the ones that are not ready for sale. So I think they kind of send them out to the YouTubers. But I mean, overall it looks pretty good. Obviously it's gonna have minor flaws, and which is why I'm always gonna be honest and point those out to you guys. The Nike sign looks good with the drip coming along right here. That design does look pretty good. And for those of you who don't know, this is a Nike SB Dunk collaboration with Ben & Jerry's ice cream. If you've never seen or heard, there is a Ben & Jerry's ice cream called Chunky Monkey, which in this case they call the shoes Chunky Dunkies because they are the Nike Dunks, if that makes sense to you guys. Also, if you have a retail pair and or a UA pair from China, and you're trying to compare which would in this case be the cow skin, which it does kind of have like a texture to it, like it does have like that fur feeling to it. None of the designs are, what I've learned is that none of the designs are going to be consistent. So if you have this exact same pair, the right shoe is not going to have this exact same pattern. Every single pair and every single pattern is different, so nothing's ever going to be the same on that part. Moving along to the back, you do got your clouds right underneath that Nike embroidery. Now I know this Nike embroidery is pretty good, but it does look kind of golden to me. I don't know if the actual color on retails is supposed to be gold or if it's supposed to be more of a yellow, kind of like the way the swoosh is. But overall, like, the embroidery on it does look pretty good, and then you do have your clouds right there, which look pretty dope as well. This texture right here, this smooth skin-like looking fur is supposed to emulate a cow, which it does pretty good. And then if you don't know, the blue up here is supposed to emulate the sky, and the green is supposed to be the grass. Just an FYI. I'm really digging the blue here on the toe box. It is like I kind of want to call it a sky blue, but I'm getting more of a box, like a box blue vibe from it. That blue is like in between, like going from like sky blue to in between turquoise, but not yet on the greener side. It's still on the blue side. I think it's called like gift box blue or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. That's the vibe I'm getting closer here compared to here. This is a much lighter blue versus the one on the toe. And speaking of the toe box, the pinholes do look correct as well. You do got the one in the front, which is slightly ahead of these two. They don't line up straight. It kind of does like a somewhat of a curve here, which is pretty accurate. So the name of the sneaks is right on the tongue, which is the Nike SB Chunky Dunky, if you could take a good look right there. So as much as you see going on the outside of the shoe, which is there's a lot of detail to pay attention to, there's just as much going on the inside. I'm gonna pull out the sole just so you guys can check it out, because it's not just an ordinary sole. But if you could see, there is a lot of tie-dye patterns going on the inside, which I think is pretty cool. Like, not only did they do a lot on the outside, but they went ahead and took that extra step and, you know, went ahead and detailed the inside as well. Yeah, if it's not fun, why do it? So we've pretty much covered every aspect of the shoe so far, but also one thing that I did want to show you is I'm gonna pull the insole from inside. Yes, it does have tie-dye colors, which you guys did see, which is pretty dope, but it also has at the bottom it says Ben & Jerry's X Nike SB, which means Ben & Jerry's collaboration with Nike SB. Aside from the detail on the insole, it looks like on the heel it does have this extra padded air unit on the heel. Feeling it in person, it is thick and it is comfortable, so it does kind of give like a little bit more comfort towards the heel, which I thought was pretty cool for being a rep. Like, some people don't take that extra step, but as you can see, most factories, and for example this factory, is starting to do so. So I thought that's a big ups right there. And before I forget, if you guys do want to get creative, they do come with extra laces. It comes with a green pair and a yellow pair. For a lot of those shoe people out there that like to do either throw on some crazy colors on there, or some people like to do a 1-in-1, maybe a green here, yellow there, they do have extra laces. By the way, they did come attached here, but I actually took them off prior to the video because I wanted to take some pictures with it. But yes, it does come with this included. And real quick before I go, I'm just going to show you the left shoe, just so you guys kind of see that the detail on this one is a little bit more cleaner. When it comes to the bottom right here, it does have cleaner detail. When I tried on the shoes, they did feel a tad bit tight, even though I could squeeze into a 12.5. But I actually figured out what the reason was. It wasn't that the shoe's too small. It's actually that on the inside that the tongue, let me show you better with the other pair, that on the inside of the tongue does have these elastic bands attached to each side of the shoe, as you can see right there. So it pretty much, if you want to loosen up the shoe, the tongue won't stretch as far as you want it to. Like, it'll still stretch, but it's gonna kind of like retreat and stay in place to keep that more of a snug fit. I figured out, I'm thinking about doing it, but I'm not sure quite yet. I kind of want to cut the bands just so it could give me a little bit of a looser fit. Obviously you could take the insole out for a looser fit, but if you kind of want to make the front loose, you could snip them off. Nothing bad will happen. The only thing is that they won't be attached to the bottom right here, so it won't retreat how it does right there. You would be able to like pull it forward all the way and stuff like that. So that pretty much wraps up my video for today. I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate all the love you guys have been showing in my previous videos. I've been getting a lot of thumbs up, nothing but positive feedback, good comments, good questions, and I'm replying to everybody as well. So not to mention that all the seller info will be in the description down below if you guys are interested. Other than that, I have plenty of more videos coming your way, and until next time,